Hello, my name is Miss Sinyard, and today I'm going to discuss some activities that will support a language rich environment in the early childhood classroom. While I discuss these activities, I'm going to demonstrate and explain why they're so important. I'm going to explain how they support a language rich environment first, and then demonstrate some ways that you could use that activity in the classroom. So, the first activity that I have prepared is storytelling with props. In this activity, children are encouraged to engage in storytelling using the props, and it's important to provide a variety of props such as stuffed animals, puppets, toy vehicles, and household items. To create a designated storytelling area in the classroom is super important, where children can freely access the props and use their imagination to tell their own stories. So, the first reason why this is so important is the vocabulary development. Storytelling with props exposes children to new words as they describe the props and incorporate them into their stories. They learn to use descriptive language to express the characteristics, actions, and relationships of the props. The next reason why this promotes language development is creativity and imagination. By using props, children can create imaginative narratives and characters, fostering their creative thinking skills. They learn to think beyond literal representations and expand their storytelling abilities. The next way that this activity supports a language rich environment is through narrative skills. Through storytelling, children develop narrative skills, including sequencing events, using appropriate story structure, beginning, middle, and end, and understanding cause and effect relationships. This activity helps them practice storytelling conventions and build their narrative competence. And of course, this helps with communication and expressive language. So, storytelling with props encourages children to express themselves verbally. They articulate their thoughts, ideas, and emotions, improving their oral communication skills. They also learn to adapt their language based on their audience and engage in turn taking during group storytelling activities. This activity is also super helpful with social interaction. This activity can be done individually or in small groups, promoting social interaction and collaboration. Children can take turns sharing their stories, listening to others, and building upon each other's ideas. They learn to negotiate, cooperate, and respect different perspectives during shared storytelling experiences. And going off of that social interaction aspect, there's also listening comprehension. So, as children listen to their peers' stories, they practice active listening and comprehension skills. They follow the narrative, make connections, and develop their understanding of story elements, such as characters, settings, and plot. And I'm sure many of us have experienced this as teachers, the confidence building that this gives the children. Storytelling with props allows children to express themselves creatively and gain confidence in their language abilities. As they share their stories, receive positive feedback, and see their peers engage in their narratives, their self esteem and language confidence are nurtured. Another great way that this activity supports a language rich environment is through cultural awareness. Props can represent diverse characters and objects, enabling discussions about different cultures, traditions, and perspectives. This activity promotes cultural awareness, empathy, and understanding as children incorporate diverse elements into their stories and appreciate different backgrounds. By engaging in storytelling with props, children actively participate in language rich experiences. They develop vocabulary, narrative skills, communication abilities, and creativity while fostering social interaction and cultural awareness. This activity provides a playful and meaningful context for language enrichment in the early childhood classroom. So, to demonstrate some ways that you may use some props for storytelling, I have a few examples of some props that you may use. I have a stuffed bear here. Plush animals are always a great way to open up communication with children because they love stuffed animals. I have a pointer finger. Um, you may not want the kids to point it at each other, but it would give a great way to maybe emphasize a point, or if they wanted to write some words on the whiteboard, there's that. I have a notebook here, and also it is a poppet, so those are very culturally relevant right now with a lot of children. Cups, any kind of silverware. I also have a can for a drink, hairbrush, that's a good one. Really, any kind of household objects are excellent at giving prompt abilities, I suppose. So with that being said, I'm going to move on to my second promotion activity, which is visual thinking strategy, or for short, VTS. VTS is an educational approach that uses carefully selected visual artworks to engage children in discussions and critical thinking. It encourages a language-rich environment in the early childhood classroom in the following ways. Observation and description. VTS prompts children to observe and describe the visual elements in the artwork. So they're using their descriptive language to discuss what they see, including colors, shapes, objects, and people. This enhances their vocabulary and ability to articulate their observations. The next way that this activity supports a language-rich environment is through critical thinking and reasoning. VTS encourages children to analyze and interpret visual information. They're prompted to think critically about the artwork, make connections, and provide reasoning for their interpretations. This fosters cognitive skills, problem solving abilities, and logical thinking. This activity also provides the opportunity to practice active listening and verbal expression. So during VTS discussions, children actively listen to their peers' ideas and perspectives. They learn to respect others' viewpoints, engage in turn taking, and build upon each other's thoughts. This promotes effective communication skills and oral expression. VTS also encourages children to ask questions about the artwork. They inquire about the artist's intentions, the stories behind the artwork, or the emotions it evokes. This helps develop their curiosity, promotes critical questioning skills, and nurtures a sense of inquiry in their learning process. And of course, through VTS, children encounter new words and concepts related to their artwork. So this harbors a sense of vocabulary development. They learn to describe emotions, express their thoughts and opinions, and discuss abstract ideas. This expands their vocabulary and improves their language proficiency. And yet again, this activity also promotes cultural awareness and perspective taking. So, visual artworks often represent different cultures, experiences, and perspectives. VTS discussions provide opportunities for children to explore and appreciate diverse perspectives, fostering cultural awareness and empathy. They learn to consider alternative viewpoints and develop a broader understanding of the world. And again, also, storytelling and narrative skills are harbored with this activity. VTS prompts children to create stories or narratives based on the visual artwork. They use their imagination and language skills to construct narratives incorporating characters, settings, and events. This activity enhances their storytelling abilities and narrative competence. And again, of course, confidence building. VTS discussions provide a supportive environment for children to share their thoughts and ideas. As they actively participate, receive validation for their contributions, and witness their peers' engagement, their confidence in expressing themselves and contributing to discussions is reinforced. Now, to demonstrate this activity, I have a book here, and it's called Come Look With Me, The World of Art, Exploring Modern Art. So, these kinds of books are excellent for VTS, for the visual thinking strategy, mainly because it has perfect pieces of artwork here for you to show to your classroom and have them open a discussion about what they think. So, some examples of sample questions you might ask about a piece of artwork are: what do you see in this artwork? Can you describe the colors, shapes, and objects you notice? Or what story or narrative do you think this artwork is telling? And what makes you think that? And maybe what do you think the artist was trying to convey or express through this artwork? And how does this artwork make you feel? This is an excellent opportunity to open up a supportive, language rich environment in your classroom. So, with all that being said, I'm going to move on to the third promotion activity that I have, which is probably the most fun for children, and that is making a shopping list. A shopping list creation activity can promote a language rich environment in the early childhood classroom in the following ways. The first being vocabulary development. So, creating a shopping list requires children to identify and name various items they need to purchase. They learn new words associated with food, household items, and other products. They also practice categorizing items such as fruit, vegetables, cleaning supplies, and expanding their vocabulary. The next way this activity supports a language rich environment is through word recognition and spelling. So, as children write or participate in creating the shopping list, they engage in word recognition and spelling. They must accurately identify and spell the items they want to include, and this activity reinforces their knowledge of letters, phonics, and spelling patterns. This activity also provides the perfect opportunity for communication and collaboration among students. So, shopping list creation can be a collaborative activity where children work in pairs or groups. They must communicate their ideas, negotiate, and reach a consensus on which items to include. So, this fosters social interaction and language use as they express their preferences, justify choices, and listen to others. This also helps with reading comprehension because after creating the shopping list, children may take on the role of the shopper and read the list to find the items in a pretend grocery store or during a real life shopping experience. This activity enhances their reading comprehension skills as they read and understand the list to complete the task. And of course, we can't forget numeracy skills. A shopping list can include quantities or numbers associated with the items, and children may need to determine how many of each item they need. This provides an opportunity to reinforce numeracy skills such as counting, basic addition, or comparing quantities. And of course, this activity is great for sequencing and organization. To create an effective shopping list, children will need to consider the order and organization of items. They may categorize items by sections of the store or group similar products together. This promotes critical thinking, sequencing skills, and logical organization. And of course, when writing a shopping list, writing skills would be involved. Writing or contributing to the creation of a shopping list involves practicing handwriting, letter formation, and sentence construction. Children may write item names, add labels, or write short descriptions. This activity supports their writing development and fine motor skills. And last but not least, but certainly not the least important, it harbors practical life skills. A shopping list creation activity connects language learning with real life skills. It helps children understand the purpose and process of making a list, organizing their needs, and planning for an activity. They learn practical life skills that they can apply outside of the classroom. So, to demonstrate this activity, I have a story. I would read this story to my class. It's Pete the Cat's trip to the supermarket. And as you go through the story, there are obviously very many items. Here's some popcorn. Let's see, we've got some eggs. And so we would read through this story together, and then afterwards, I would pull out this pre made shopping list. And you can even make your own shopping list. I just printed this one off the internet, but it's an excellent opportunity for the kids to write down the things that they want or need and pretend. And it's great if you have a play kitchen with food and items where you can actually pretend to have a grocery store. So, finally, thank you for listening. I hope that this gave you some ideas of some activities that can promote a language rich environment in your classroom. And again, thank you for listening. Bye bye.